It is beyond dispute that the gang criminal who is prepared to shoot a gun illegally is also prepared to own a gun illegally. We will create a Canada Border Services Agency task force that will work with local law enforcement on both sides of the border to disrupt smuggling routes and intercept smuggled guns as they enter Canada.
Here's a roundup of the major party leaders on day 24 of this election campaign. Conservative Leader Andrew Scheer announced his plan today, as you heard there, to combat guns and gangs. He unveiled those details in Toronto, where deadly shootings, of course, have rocked local communities. He also made a campaign stop in North York. Scheer answered questions as well about his dual citizenship. The CBC's Salima Shivji is covering the Conservative campaign for us this week. Salima?
Vashi, the questions keep following Andrew Scheer, obscuring his messaging. Today he wanted to talk about gang and gun violence, but of course the focus very much again on the fact that he is a dual U.S.-Canadian citizen. Now, he says he's in the process of renouncing his American citizenship, but he was asked today if he has filed a U.S. tax return every year, if he registered also with Selective Service, the U.S. agency that runs the military draft down there. He says he did. He was also asked again whether his party knew that he was a dual citizen when they have attacked other people, their political opponents, for having the same status. Scheer tried to shrug the questions off.
As I said, everyone who knows me or knows my family knows that my father was born in the United States, and that's been open with that. And so that's that.
But here's the thing, this is just the punctuation, an exclamation mark on what was already a difficult week for Andrew Scheer. Trip-ups in Quebec after that first French language debate has really got the Tory campaign team shifting its attention, but really focusing more on Ontario and those all-important ridings in the GTA. Of course, they absolutely need to do well in that area, but a strike is looming here in Ontario, and there is a lot of anger against progressive Conservative Premier Doug Ford. And of course, that is never good news for his federal counterpart, Andrew Scheer. Vashi.
Thanks, Salima. The CBC's Salima Shivji reporting on the Conservative campaign this week. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau, meanwhile, was in Quebec today, where he called on Andrew Scheer to be more honest, he says, with Canadians. That led reporters to ask Trudeau about those images of him in blackface.
I took responsibility for the mistakes I've made in the past. I apologize for them. Mr. Scheer continues to not take responsibility for his choices of the past, his actions of the past, his mistakes of the past.
Trudeau was also asked about his personal position on abortion. That happened during a campaign stop in Quebec City. Later, Trudeau traveled to St. Anaclet, Quebec. The CBC's Katie Simpson is covering the Liberal campaign for us this week. Katie?
Hey, Vashi, it's another day of men weighing in on abortion. This time, Liberal leader Justin Trudeau clarified his personal stance, which he says has shifted over the past decade or so. Trudeau told reporters back in 2011 that while he would always defend a woman's right to choose, he personally was anti-abortion because of his Catholic faith. Today, Trudeau said his prior position doesn't make any sense and that he's changed.
I don't think it is actually coherent or consistent for someone to say that they are pro-choice, particularly a man, to say that they are pro-choice but don't like abortion. I evolved past that particular perspective. I continue to be and will always be fully pro-choice, but I no longer feel that I can or need to say that I'm against abortion. That's not for me as a man to say.
The contrast Trudeau is trying to illustrate here is that he's evolved on social issues while his main competitor, Andrew Scheer, has not. The Liberals are hitting the Conservatives with that stick on two separate fronts, abortion and same-sex marriage. It's all part of the Liberals' direct appeal to progressive voters, trying to motivate that crowd to go to the polls rather than sit this one out because Trudeau didn't live up to their expectations in his last mandate. Vashi.
Thanks, Katie. The CBC's Katie Simpson reporting for us from the Liberal campaign. NDP Leader Jagmeet Singh campaigned in Saskatchewan today, where he promoted his plan for universal pharmacare.
When you need health care, when your family or your loved one needs health care, and it's not there for you, it's heartbreaking. It hurts. I think about all the people.
Singh says his pharmacare and dental care plans would be available to Canadians by 2020 if elected. He made that pledge in Saskatoon before taking his campaign to Thunder Bay, Ontario. The CBC's David Thurton is with that campaign this week. David?
Hey, Vashi, we're in the federal riding of Saskatoon West. It's one of 2 seats that the NDP holds in this province. And this morning, a room full of supporters welcomed Jagmeet Singh. He said that his party is pledging to bring in national pharmacare. It's a big ticket item. It would cost $10 billion annually. Singh also said that his party isn't afraid of racking up deficits. Here's what he had to say.
When you're in government, you have a better sense of exactly what's going on. So that's going to be hard to give you that precision. But what I can tell you is my values very clearly. I would not be running a deficit to give billionaires billions of dollars, which Mr. Trudeau has done.
So as you heard there, he didn't really commit to an exact number, but he also spoke about the controversy involving Andrew Scheer, his dual citizenship. He said that he rather criticized the Conservative leader for his policies rather than his nationality. Vashi.
Thanks, David. The CBC's David Thurton reporting from the NDP campaign. Meanwhile, Green Party leader Elizabeth May spent a second straight day campaigning around her home riding in Greater Victoria. She promised her government would commit to planting 10 billion trees over the next 30 years. Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.